This video was sponsored by OutBeachExpress.com. Outbeach Express Stock Media by Subscription is a new site that offers high-quality broadcast resolution stock media content. Their content includes stock footages up to 5K resolution, music, sound effects, images, and After Effects templates. Sign up today for a free account at OutBeachExpress.com and receive 19 free pre-selected stock media downloads. No credit cards, payments, or obligations required. Create your free account today.
Hello everyone and welcome to my After Effects tutorial. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to create a very nice Parallax Slideshow design in Adobe After Effects. So what you see right now on the screen is what I'm going to show you today. And this is just one of the things that you could create with the technique. I've created a few more examples that you can look at. So this is another thing that you can do. So as you can see, it looks good. We have some very nice parallax happening with the textures. There is some good movement in the image. And on top of that, we are even adding some text elements to this. So a complete slideshow design, and it's going to look very nice when you pile this up with 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 slides. Here is another example. This is a little towards the clean side, so no textures, no text elements, just the image. And as you can see, this looks quite nice. Here is another example with the same image but a little more intense. So you can do all of this with this technique, and I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Now, actually, before starting guys, I have done this topic before on this channel and I did get some very good views and reviews on this, but the reason I'm doing this again is because this video, the one you see right now, it's a very basic idea for creating a parallax. I just show you how to create a parallax and how to add some text elements to this, but in this video I'm gonna show you how to take this to the next level and really do some cool things with parallaxing in After Effects. So for anyone who's new here and doesn't understand what exactly is a parallax, well, you see this image, in my opinion this is a perfect example. So we have some mountains in the background and then we have a cycle in the foreground, but the size of them is almost the same, the size of the mountain and the size of the cycle. And we all know that the size of the mountain and the size of the cycle cannot be the same. The mountains are insanely huge. So why is this happening? Well, the reason this is happening is because the mountains are very, very far away from us, and comparatively the cycle is very close to us, and that's why we are getting the size, this illusion where both of their sizes is almost the same. We're going to use the exact principle in After Effects, and we're going to push things in the Z space to create a very nice parallax design. So I hope you understand, and if you want to go through the basics, then I highly recommend going to this video. I'll leave a link to this in the description, and you can go to this video and check it out, learn the basics, and then come back to this video. Right? And guys, don't worry, the texture that I'm using in this video, I'll leave a link to this guy in the description. You just have to credit him, and the non-commercial use is okay. If you want to use commercially, you just have to ask for permission, and that's all. And he has some killer textures, right? Amazing textures, and you can use all of this for free from DeviantArt. So free download. I'll leave a link to this in the description. So with that being said, let's get started guys. You can go for Full HD or 2K or 4K if you want, but just to keep my tutorial simple and clean and stuff, I'm gonna go for 720p, right? 720p, and I'll make this 60 FPS. Let's go for 60. And I'll make this 10 seconds and click OK. Now awesome people, now some of you may think that what I'm doing is weird and it shouldn't be done, but create a new composition and make this, okay, firstly rename this to Pic01 and now make this 8K. Yes, you heard me right guys, make it 8K. If you don't know the dimensions, here is how you do it. 3840, because even I don't know how to do it, but type in 3840 and do into 2, okay? When you click outside, there you go, that is your 8K resolution. And some of you will be like, what, 8K? We don't even have images that is 4K, let alone 8K. But trust me on this guys, click OK, and we will work with this and you will see what is gonna happen. So we'll go for images. I'll take this image. Now this image is 4K, but when I drop this into an 8K composition, you can see even this is kind of small for the image. And for that, I'm just gonna scale it up. Now some of you will be like, no, you're gonna scale it up, you're gonna go over 100, that's gonna pixelate the image. Yes, I know what I'm doing, guys. Please trust me and follow along. Right now, you don't want to go overboard like this. You just want to make it to the point where it's filling up the composition. Okay, so I'll make it to 176. Yeah, I think that's good. So basically, create an 8K composition and scale your image up, and you're good to go. All right, so you're done. Take your pick one and drop it down here into your main composition. And as you can see, when you put an 8K composition into a full HD composition, or in my case a 720p composition, it's huge. So the second step would be to scale this thing down. In my case, I'm going to bring it to 17%. And now this is the workflow, guys. Okay, you take this composition, make this into a 3D layer. Okay, then you go for your rectangle tool and you create a nice square mask. So create a mask, control shift it, and you can draw a very nice square. I'm gonna keep it right there. So you don't want to basically go overboard and draw like a huge square mask. Keep it to the place where you can see your boundaries in your composition panel. Anyways, I'm gonna click on this boundary. Click on the boundary so you can select 2 nodes at a time, and then I'm just gonna shift right arrow key to move them like this. Okay, select this, shift left arrow key and move it to the left. You basically want to have equal spacing and equal image on both the sides. That looks good to me, awesome people. Now I'm gonna invert the image. Okay, so now whatever is black is now transparent and the sides have images in them. That should look good. Next, I'm gonna duplicate this, and now again, this depends on what you like better. You want to have a very good parallax, something like this, and you're gonna have to create 6, 7, copies of pick one. If you want to have a less intense parallax, then go for 3 or 4. Okay, and if you want to go super intense, then go for 10, 15, 20 maybe. Okay, but I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna go for 5 or 6. So I'm gonna duplicate this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna go for 6. And that's it. Next, I'm gonna press that tilde key on the keyboard to maximize my timeline. And now, awesome people, the next step is to press the P key on the keyboard to reveal the position. And you're gonna start pushing things in the Z space. So you don't want to move the first 2 numbers. You just want to move the third number. Okay. So actually, I'll go one more. I'll make one more duplicate. Superb. Now, awesome people, the last layer is going to be set to 0. So we're not going to touch that. We'll start adjusting with the, with these layers. So the last layer, that's going to be the foreground for us, and we're not going to do anything to that. So go to the second layer, and I'll make this 1000. So we are basically jumping 1000 pixels every layer. Okay. So copy this 1000. Actually, don't copy it. Just type it out. 2000, 3000, 4000. 5000 and 6000. Superb. I hope you guys are following along, and when you come out, you're gonna see something like this. If you see this, superb. There is no problem in your image or in our composition. Just trust me on this and create a new camera. Okay, and when you do this, you will see your image changes. Now, the idea behind creating an 8K composition and then sketching up the image was to create a good parallax, right? And because we are squishing down the composition anyways, we're not going to get any pixelation. So even though, actually you won't see it now, but even though I'm viewing at 100%, you will see that I'm hardly getting any pixelation. You cannot see anything right now because there is no image. But trust me on this, guys, create an 8K composition. You won't be able to push it this much back if you don't have a very high res composition. Okay, so even though we are scaling up our image is not going to be distorted because eventually we are scaling down the composition and therefore the details are maintained. All right, so the first one is good. Next, awesome people, the next step in our awesome journey is going to be scaling up all these different layers to the point where they are matching over here. Now, one thing that may confuse you is the mask boundaries. So click on this toggle mask option. That's going to disable, or at least for now, make the masks not visible. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to select this layer, and as you can see, the transform box for this is over here. So you need to scale this up to the point where, to the point where this is as close as it can be to this point. Now as you can see, there's going to be a little bit of a difference, and that's okay. Try to work with increments. 20.5, I'm going to go for 20.25, and as you can see, it's not perfect, but this much is okay. Alright, but try to go as close as you can to this point. Okay, so you basically want to have a good uniform scale on all layers. So I'm going to start scaling all of them. And again, because this is 8K compositions, we can scale them quite easily and not worry about going past 100 over here. Because if you were to go past 100 in these compositions, then there's something off and your pixelations will be very, very visible. That's why we went for an 8K composition and not anything less than that. So again, keep on scaling this. Again, you don't want to have this much problem, okay? Try to work with increments and see if where you can go with that. And when everything is scaled up, this is superb. Now awesome people, we will start working with our masks. So what you want to do is you want to select a layer and you want to toggle masks back on. So this is good. Now the first layer we won't touch because we already have created the boundaries for it, but the second layer we will definitely adjust. So we'll click on the mask boundaries and we will shift increment it 2 times. Now one advice I would like to give you is zoom out a little when you are trying to do this so that it goes a little bit faster. If you were to shift right arrow key right now, you can see how slowly it moves. And Control C this. If I zoom out and if I do this, you can see how quickly it jumps. So I'm going to do it at this 25%. Select this and shift. Actually, I think I'm going to do this again. Okay, so again, select the second layer. Okay, click on the mask boundaries and then shift right arrow key. 1, 2. 1, 2. That is superb. Next awesome people is going to be this guy. 1, 2. Now 1, 2 was just to match with the second layer. Now we need to go 3, 4, 3, 4 to move further than that, right? So if I was to just do 1, 2, it would only match this much part. We want to reveal more image, so we'll do 3 and 4. I hope that makes sense. So move back out, zoom out. 1, 2. That is going to match the second layer, and 3, 4. Same thing. Now it's going to be 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And as you can see, we are revealing the full image now, and we're going to get a perfect image with parallax. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Select the other layer. Now it's going to be 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And same here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or something. I think I miscounted there. And now on the last layer, even if you don't meet this, like you can of course create a duplicate and do the scaling, positioning and everything like that again, but I would prefer to just complete it over here. So even if they don't match with my 2-digit jumps or 2 spacing jumps, I'm just gonna complete it. So as you can see, we're getting this black space, and you want to cover up to the point where the full image is visible. So you can of course create another duplicate, push this further in the Z space, scale it up again. Again, you want to match this point when you're scaling up. Oops. Now you can do that, but I'm not going to go for that. Okay, so I'm just going to complete the masking in 6 layers, like so. And now guys, if you're having difficulty completing this very small gap, then you can zoom in and you can use a shift key, and you can only use the arrow key for going super small and going very precise. But one other way would be, and you can see we're getting this black line problem, so you can select this last layer and go to mask expansion and then go into a minus value, and that's going to get rid of that problem. Okay, so as you can see, awesome people, we have recreated our full image with 6 or 7 different layers, but the difference now is that we have a camera and we can position animate this. So let me show it to you guys. We are gonna start the position animation on the first frame, move ahead in time about 130, and now if I push this ahead, you will see we're getting some nice parallax. So you may not see this right now, but check this out. So I got into I zoomed it a lot. Gonna add a little bit of ease into the design, right? And now if I play it, you'll see. Okay, this is a little too much. I'm gonna go ahead and push a second keyframe like this. And as you can see, awesome people, that the background is coming closer to the camera very quickly, and the subject of the image is still in the background, right? So it's so she's moving very slowly, but the background of the image is coming closer to the camera very quickly, and that's a good way of creating a parallax design. That is exactly what parallax is all about. So instead of doing the curve like this, I'm going to select this and I'm going to invert the curve like so. And now let's see how does our animation look. So I'm going to let this render. So this is how it looks when the animation has been completed. So what we can do is that instead of taking the full duration, we can start our playback from here. Press a B key on the keyboard to trim out your your work area, and then we can sort of play, I think, a little right there, right? So as you can see, it's gonna move in very nicely, and we're gonna get some really nice parallax effects. That looks really nice to me. Now, and the best part about this, awesome people, is that we haven't added motion blur yet. So if we add motion blur, if you were to go right there, add motion blur, you can see that we're adding a little bit of motion blur. And now one thing that some people may say is that we're getting some anomalies right here, like in the designs, that we're getting some cuts and some very weird line effects, and that is because the scaling wasn't perfect. You remember in the scaling stage when I told you that you want to keep this as close as possible, and in my opinion, awesome people, that would never be perfect. Okay, everyone is going to have that slight problem, and that is going to happen like one way or the other, and nobody is going to be able to do it perfectly. And in my opinion, that scaling anomaly is going to look really nice with the parallax design. Okay, so again, we have created the image parallax. Now, awesome people, let's add in some textures to complete the full look. Okay, so let's render this just one last time, and it's looking nice. So she is moving in very slowly, and the background is moving quite nicely, and this full thing looks really nice to me. Next, let's add some textures. So again, awesome people, you can go to DeviantArt.com, type in textures over here, and you're gonna get some very nice results. And the one that I picked up was the snowfall something. Let me just look at this. Yeah, I picked up this this image, snow texture. Right, I'll leave a link to this in the description. You just have to credit the user for using it, so I'm doing that. Go to her page. I'll leave the link in the description. Download this image and use it if you want. Follow along with me. And another awesome dude that I came across was this guy, Skeeler Stock, and he or she uploads really good textures, so you can check them out. And I'm using this one right here. I'll leave the link to this, and this in the description, and you can follow along. Okay, so I have already downloaded the textures. Textures, right there you go. These are textures. I've put them into a pre-comp, and what I did was, actually let me just do this. I'll do it again. So here is our snow texture. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna drag and drop it into a composition. So it's gonna take the size, the composition size is gonna be exactly of the image's size. Okay, so the image was of 3000 by 2000. The composition became 3000 by 2000. You can put this into a full HD comp if you want, or a 720, or a 4K or 8K comp if you want, but in my opinion this is going to work fine. And what I will do is that I will delete this firstly, and I'm going to use these two texture comps that I have created already. So go to main and drag and drop this here, and let's work with one at a time. So we have this guy. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this down. Okay, so we're getting even crisper details in our texture. And next I'm going to go to levels. I'm going to apply it onto the pre-comp. And then then I'm going to go for invert. Actually, I should have gone for invert first. So go for invert first. Apply it to the texture composition. Put levels underneath invert. Okay, and then you just want to squish it off like that. And now you just want to change the blend mode to lighten or screen or add or something. What's happening? Wait a sec, guys. I think I should have pulled this guy. There you go. Right? And then just reduce the opacity to say 25, and we're good to go. Right? We're creating some very nice texture on our image. And now what we can do is that first let's just do the 3D part. So if you make this 3D, you will see if it's good, if it doesn't move a lot, that's good, that's awesome, and that's nice. Now we can go to the mask options and go for an ellipse tool, and then we'll basically create an ellipse like this, so that the texture is removed and it's only focused on this ellipse. But we want the exact opposite. We want the texture to be on the surroundings and not on her. So we'll invert this, and you can see the texture is surrounding her but it's not on her. Super. Next we will feather the mask out, so at 250, and I'll reduce the opacity even further. There you go. Now we're creating a good texture without using any third-party plugins. I'll duplicate this texture layer and I'll increase its size a little bit. And what you can do is you can even push this into Z space a little bit. But the only thing you have to keep in mind is that you don't push it into Z space that's gonna overlap these guys. So if you had pushing it into positive Z space, like into a positive number, you may run into this problem. So if I was to push it in say 1000 plus, right, you can see that I'm getting this cut effect on the texture, and this is not going to look very nice in my opinion. If you like it like this, then go for it. What I would suggest is that put the texture into a minus number, like -250 or something. This is going to make the texture come closer to the camera a little bit faster. It's going to give you a better parallax, right? And you can go extreme with this, so you can go for -1000 and scale this down, right? So you're getting some nice overlap effects. You can mess around with the blend mode and see what works. So make it overlay, increase the opacity, you go for an intense effect, but I think I'm going to stick to 20, right? And now awesome people, let's go for another texture that we have. So I went for that snow texture, bring it down, make it 3D, invert it, then change the actually we don't need to invert this guy. We need to tint it. You can see all the colors that we have. We want a black and white texture, so for a color, make this black and white, and now just click on screen and you're good to go. Right, again we will have to apply a mask on this texture, because we don't want any textures to be on her, right? On our main subject we don't want any textures. So create a mask like so, and as you can see things are getting a little intense. I'm gonna change this to half, invert this, and again make sure that you feather the boundaries, so 250, and that is looking really nice. See where your textures is, so I'm gonna make this -500, and that is how you create a nice parallax design, awesome people. Right, as you can see we're getting a nice parallax in the background, we're getting some good parallax with the texture effects. And now if you want to add some some text elements, that is also very easy to do. We'll create a text holder first. So let's just go for a rectangle tool. And if you want to use these tools for creating a shape layer, then make sure that no layer is selected. If you have a layer selected and you draw, then you're creating a mask. Okay, but the same tools can be used for creating a shape layer. Just make sure that nothing is selected when you use them. So nothing is selected, and if I draw it, you can see that a new shape layer is being created. Let's change the fill to white, right? And we'll rename this to box, make this 3D, and I'm going to use my move anchor point script for moving the anchor point to the center. Push this here. We'll take the text tool, type something like parallax. We'll make the text black. I'm using the Roboto font, and the only reason that this is looking pixelated is because I'm working with the half resolution. Go for full, it's going to look very nice. It is looking very nice. Next we'll create, we'll make this layer 3D, right? And we will parent the text composition to the box composition, to the box layer, I'm sorry. So this way we don't have to move the text layer around, we just have to worry about the box layer, and the text layer is just going to follow the box layer. So if for creating a better parallax effect, you can move this into a minus number if you like. That's going to create an intense parallax. The text element and the shape layer is going to move a little bit faster than the image and then the textures. But if you like it like that, then you can go for it. So let's just render this and let's see what happens. And since this is rendering, let me just give you guys a tip that I used a box shape or a box marks at the very starting for creating the mask on the Pig01 composition. You can go for different shapes and you're gonna come up with some very good results. So you can try a circle layer, a circle shape. You can go for a hexagonal, you can go for zigzags, and instead of just working with a nice box mask, you can try different things out and see how they work out, right? Or you can go for something completely different and see how does that work. And if it's good, then definitely make a tutorial and show it to me. So we have this is looking nice, but as you can see now, one problem is that at the end this box layer is coming too close to the camera, to the point where it's getting distorted and it's being cut off from our composition. So you can just push this up, push this a little bit behind, so it's gonna create a little less parallax, but at the end we want to create a design that works, right? So we'll go to we'll just make this 0. I think 0 is more than enough for creating our design. So you're gonna get a good parallax, and we'll even have the design that works and not just looks good on one frame, right? Because you want to go for a video. This is After Effects, it's not Photoshop. And as you can see, this is looking nice. We're getting some good parallax and everything. Now you can take this even further by adding some flares and going for some looks if you like, but some simple stuff that I'd like to do is create an adjustment layer, call this blur, go for Gaussian blur, apply it there, change the blurriness to say 10, alright, start the animation, move 30 frames ahead, make this 0. So like that, it's going to give you that start blur. It adds a little cinematicness, like a little depth of field sort of effect. It's going to look really nice. So this is how it looks when everything is done, right? So we have that nice blur animation at the start, and then things start to come forward to the camera. This is these techniques that I just showed you can be used for creating a very good title sequence, can be used for creating slideshows, of course, and you can do a lot of things with that. One more thing that you could do is you could add a little bit of a rotation to give again, I like to add a little bit of cinematicness into my design. So I'm going to select the camera, start the animation for Z rotation, and then change this to -5. It's gonna add a little bit of that extra awesomeness. And you're getting these problems at the top. What we'll do is, in order to cover this up, we will create a boxing layer. So we're gonna basically create a letterboxing, make this 80, and we'll do stencil alpha, and boom, right? Now if you play this, it's going to look something like that. So that little bit of rotation definitely adds a little cinematicness, in my opinion. Now again, this is just the bare After Effects. If you want to use third-party plugins for making this even better, you can go ahead and do that. So you can create a flare layer, right? And make sure that everything is below the boxing layer. Okay, so we can go for Video Copilot, add optical flare, go for options, and what I like to do is I like to keep things simple. I'll clear everything, I'll add a streak, add a glow, go to glow and change this to 50 and make it 25, right? So we add like that nice transformers layer, and we already have the texture, so we're not going to apply any textures to the flare. Make this screen, and we will animate, and we'll put this somewhere at the side like this. All right, again, this is going to depend on the image, so it doesn't work with every image, but on some images it looks completely awesome. So we'll increase the scale to 250, 1000, and it's gonna this is gonna basically create a transition for us. We'll move ahead in time, close this, and we'll do 250, 100, and let's just see how it looks. Right, right. So as you can see, it looks interesting. I wouldn't say it's not looking that good, but again, this depends on a little bit on the images. But I've seen a lot of flares being added on VideoHive project files, and that they just look different altogether. So you can try this. You can also add some particles into this. Instead of going for static textures, you can go for an animated texture where you're adding particles and you're having just nice bokehs in this effect. It would look awesome. And the last thing that you could do is you could combine this with Magic Bullet looks. That would Magic Bullet looks, basically, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a plugin that has a lot of presets for different color corrections, right? So the transition, in my opinion, is looking killer awesome. So look at that, awesome people. That is insane good. But I'm gonna remove this flare, and let's go for looks, and let's see how that looks. So we'll go for looks, put this below the boxing layer, and I think I messed up. We'll have to go for an adjustment layer. Sorry guys. Rename this to looks, go for Magic Bullet looks, apply that, go to edit, and you will see that again we're having all these different effects. We can see what looks good. So does this work? Does this work? That works. I think basic contrast I think should be good, and vibrant looks nice, right? And that is how you create a very, very awesome Parallax slideshow, awesome people. And let's combine this with flare just to see how it looks. And of course, awesome people, when you do all of this, it's gonna take a little time to render, okay? So bear with the computer, bear with me. But again, at the end, what we have created looks good. If you sync it out with a good audio, this would look just insane awesome, right? So I'm gonna switch this off and let's just preview this and see how things look. In my opinion, it looks really nice. We're getting some good parallaxes. And what I did right now is I went basically from zoom out to zoom in, right? We zoomed in into the position of the camera. What you could do is you could do the exact opposite where, right? So we're zooming into the image. We are zooming into the image and it's looking nice, but you could also try to zooming out of the image. So you're basically having a position on the first frame where it's very zoomed in, very close to the picture and to our subject, just like this guy, this example, right? So it's very close to the subject, the camera is very close to the subject, and then we are zooming out instead of going in. Right, so with only 2 keyframes you're able to create something really nice by using Z depth in After Effects. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you understood how to do something like this in today's episode. My name is CJ Style. Awesome people, good luck, create some awesome stuff using this technique and show it to me. Okay, leave comments in the leave your work in the comments. I love to see it. I reply to you guys, and you stay awesome. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed, and take care, and I will see you all next time.